Good morning, everyone. This is the first webinar dedicated to Cintra People Expenses, part of the Insight Cintra People series. You may have already joined the HR and payroll versions of this webinar. To introduce myself, my name is Tom Owen. I'm Director of Expense Solutions and Strategic Partnerships at Cintra. I've been with the Capture team for around about 6 months now, in the business for 8 years, doing varying different roles in varying different departments. To introduce the speakers today, first you'll hear from Al Green, Head of Expense Product. Al's been with Cintra for 20 years, and there's very little about our products and our services that he doesn't know about. Following that will be a demo from Johnny Dowell. Johnny is our founding strategic account executive for Capture Expense, and now that Capture Expense is the use and the facilities of Capture Expense has been added to Cintra People, Johnny's now aiding with that as well. Being frank, there's no better people in the business to talk about Cintra People Expenses and Capture Expense. So the reason we're having this session today, in a recent survey, more than half of our clients told us that they're spending more than a day processing processing expenses, chasing approvals, receipts, etc. And 1 in 5 said that process takes more than a week. Now, with Capture Expense, we've obviously done great things in that area, but with Cintra People Expenses, with payroll, HR, and expense in the same platform, we can do better again. So what's coming up in this session? I've already mentioned Al, our Head of Product, is going to take you through Cintra People and Cintra People Expenses, how it works and why we're doing it, followed by a live demo from Johnny, and after that, there will be a Q&A to finish. A little bit of housekeeping on this session. All the participants we muted other than those talking, so you don't have to worry about background noise. The session is being recorded, so please feel free to take notes, but if you don't, this session will be sent out following the conclusion. And any questions, this is an interactive session, we'll attempt to answer as many as we can in the Q&A at the end, but those we don't get to, we will follow up with. You have my promise. Other than that, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to hand over now to Al, who's going to take you through Cintra People Expenses.
Hi everyone, I'm Al, Product Manager here at Cintra. I think over the years I've met many of you. Today I'm going to talk you through Cintra People and our latest module that we've added to the platform, Expenses. We're really excited about Cintra People Expenses, and in a moment when Johnny shows you that product and does his big reveal, you'll see why we're so excited. It truly is a fantastic product. As a quick recap on Cintra People, is our platform for all things people and pay, payroll, HR, and more. And when I say HR, that can be our fully featured HR module or Employee Hub. And I know many of you use Employee Hub, and it is really a great product. So Cintra People truly is one system. It's a single source of truth. Data flows around the system through the modules. There are no imports, no exports, or double keying. It's a unified platform, a single look and feel and behavior. If you understand one module, you'll understand all the others. And now we get to the really exciting bit. Expenses. So we've leveraged our expertise in expense management, and we've added an expense module to the Cintra People platform. In a matter of moments, Johnny will give you a demo, and you'll see how amazing that module is. Cintra People Expenses is an expense management system in its own right. It's class leading, and it's based on our multi-award-winning expense management system. And you get the fully featured, fully functional expense management system. It's AI powered. We have a natural language interface. We have smart audit to leverage policies. And of course, we have OCR to scan receipts and automatically turn that into an expense claim. All of that is great, but the extra dimension is the way that we've integrated expense management into the Cintra People platform integrated into payroll and HR. So there's a seamless flow of data between HR, payroll, and expenses. There are workflows for new starters, leavers, approvers, reimbursements. So your holiday approvers in HR could be your expense approvers in expenses, or you can set up something different. It's very, very flexible. Maybe the main thing is the one login. It's one login for you, for your employees, for your managers, for your admins. They log into the system and they can do all that they need to do. View their payslips, book holiday, create an appraisal, manage their expenses. That's probably enough from me. I'll come back at the end and I'll talk to you about our Champions program and launch dates for this product. However, before I do that and before I hand you over to Johnny, just one thing. We're really thrilled to announce that our first customer was set up with Cintra People Expenses last week. They're live with the system today as we're talking. And the product and the feedback that we're getting from them is really good. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Johnny and he'll show you Cintra People Expenses in the flesh.
Cool. Thanks, Al. Right, let me share my screen. Let's just do the entire screen. So you should now be able to all see my screen okay. I'll just full screen it for you. So key things to highlight just as we start. So as you can see, I'm in the Cintra People platform. At the top left, you can see the Cintra logo and where you can also see the other sections, such as your payroll, if you're a payroller, employee hub for all your HR details, so looking at your pay slip, and then now you have the expenses module as well. In terms of if we have capture clients or current capture clients in the call today, in terms of the look and feel, it's very much the same. Or you can see probably down the left-hand side is some of the actual buttons and settings just look slightly different. We've done that so it all looks, the look and feel looks all the same across your payroll and across your HR. In terms of what I'm going to run through today, I'm going to run through basically the full process, raising an expense claim, approving it, and then pushing it into payroll and showing that full integration work. So in terms of what you can do, you can use the new app, so the Cintra People app. So if you have got a capture expense app already, you can switch over into the Cintra People app once you get the all-in-one. In terms of you can raise receipts using the OCR technology. You can also use the WhatsApp feature or Teams function to do your expenses. Everything that you know about capture already being used in Cintra People. In terms of the expenses, if we raise a claim now as of today, so I'll go into my expenses folder. As you can see, I've got a lot going on here in terms of lots of policies being enabled. As you can see, you know, missing category, missing receipts, over 3 months old. But in terms of what you would be doing day to day, if I just raise a manual expense, I'll create it as a mileage claim just to show you. I can put in my vehicle standard. We do a location start. Here we're using, for people who aren't familiar with capture expense or with Cintra People Expenses, what we use here for this integration is Google Maps. So it's all integrated with point A to point B location. Let's just do London, for example. So right there, you can see instantly getting the mileage in, so 282.77. What you can also do, a lot of people, a lot of companies like to stop off at various locations on the way down, or you've gone via a different route. That can all be inputted as you go. So you can write those in, and then Google Maps will just point location to location and then increase that mileage for you. What you can also do with Google Maps and our integration with our mileage, you can modify. So I can modify and say I've done 300 miles. You would do that if you saw it on, let's say, on SatNav, you got rerouted, 300 miles can all be inputted there as well. And you've got total amount all complete for me there. Another big thing that we've all included as well with the Cintra People is our carbon tracking as well. So you now can report across all different types of reports, not just payroll, HR and payroll and expenses, sorry. You can also record all your carbon emissions as well, all in one software. So let's save that down. And it's just asking me, I need a receipt because I've got some policies enabled. I'm just going to continue. And then as you can see, I'm building up my expenses over the week and over the month. What you can see here as well is you can see this credit card icon. I've actually integrated my cards to this software. So here we can connect with all your modern day banks or with our own capture expense cards themselves, depending on your preference. But here we can connect with banks real time. So as you tap your card on the go, if I'm a card holder, those transactions are going to pull through exactly like this. So let's say an espresso, got a coffee, that transaction's pulled through. I would then upload a receipt for that as well. Let's go ahead and actually push this mileage claim through to the approval process. So 135 claim, I can add in a bit more of a description. I won't, I'm going to submit that down for approval. And then what does that approver see? So depending on your permissions, as we're a very permission-driven software, if I'm a line manager, for example, I would then get a notification in the app or in the browser, let me know that I have claims right here ready for approval. So you can see a nice overarching screen of what I can do or what I can see. So it's a multi-staged approach. So stage one would be your direct line manager, let's say. Stage two might be finance to sign off. We can set up different thresholds as well, such as something's £100, £1,000, it needs to go to, let's say, a director to sign off on. Those can all be implemented. But for demo purposes, we've only just got a line manager stage for approval. I can drop down and I can review that straight away, all in this one screen. So I can see straight away, it's missing a receipt, it's been modified. I might need to look into that detail a bit more. Like Alistair said, we've got AI embedded all in the software, both for that user for the natural language talking and getting expenses loaded in using WhatsApp. But here for line managers and approvers, we've got the ability to actually use our Discover Approval Insights. Here, what this is going to generate is a report of me or whoever you're reporting against, and also a summary of that claim. So right now, it's just highlighting to me, okay, missing receipt, modified, consistent mileage claims, multiple mileage claims recently, and also similar mileage before in a previous claim. So I might need to then go in and look at the detail of that. Right here, I've got a report that I can download out and actually have a look at the individual line item details. Or using our natural language AI, I can actually ask questions, use insight intelligence, and actually make a decision on whether or not this should be pushed through. But let's say I'm completely happy with this. I have everything that I need. I'm comfortable that it's been modified and there's no receipt. I can approve that through, hit approve. That'll then leave this stage here, and it flows directly into this accounting stage here. Before I move on to that, just to briefly show the finance view for banking. So in our banking screen here, this is where you're going to be connecting all your corporate cards. And we can work with basically any traditional bank, whether it's Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and then also we have our own capture expense cards. But here is a nice view for finance to see the live transaction feeds, the live statement view of what's being spent on those cards. So you can keep up to date with whether or not receipts are going in. You can also process it, run accruals reports, anything that you need to do. It's a nice live view, and it makes it a lot more streamlined instead of keeping it as an end of month process. This, from an employee point of view, is all going to be in the app, so you can see your transactions come through and reconcile real time. But for finance, you get this report, live view of what's being spent per card, all in one screen here. Moving on to the accounting stage. So here's where the magic happens. Here is where you are actually integrating all the expenses done directly into payroll just from this one screen here. So right now, let's take this mileage that I just done here. I can see right now I'm happy with everything as a payroller or finance or HR. I'm absolutely happy with this claim going through, and now I'm going to integrate this or push this onto their payslip. It's as simple as exporting this data into Cintra People Payroll. Once that's done, and once it's loaded in, it will then tell me that it's been posted. It's successfully been posted across into payroll. In terms of what that actually looks like in payroll, nice and simple. If I go over now to my payroll screen and actually look at my payslip itself or the updated payroll details for me once it loads, here we go. So now I'm going to go into that my live payroll. I'm going to search for myself. I can see right here, Johnny Adminton, and there's some net variance. So you can see the 126 right here. If we actually go into the pay details, I can see straight away that expenses that has been loaded up into my account there and then. That is how simple it is to actually get all the expenses directly on into your payroll straight away. Hopefully that has come across in terms of how that's come across. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it didn't stutter too much. But it's really, really that simple. And now it's directly in my payslip, ready for me to then submit this this salary or this payment run down to my team. A couple more things I just want to quickly show just before we end it there, and then we can start taking some questions. Reporting. So, like capture expense customers have already know, we've got very extensive reporting in the software. One with our standard reports using Insights, but then also all our AI reporting mechanisms. So if I go into Insights here is basically where you can get a breakdown of all your expense process and all your expense details just from our standard Insights reporting. What this is, you can report against all your mileage against everyone in the organization. So I'd see everyone in here. Categories, all the category spend and what's being spent, or whether it's been complete. I can look at the details in terms of what's in the draft, approval, and completed. I can actually go into the individual user spend. So you can drop down and actually look at all the individual details, what's in their draft section, what's actually been complete, and I can pull this data off by exporting it out. I think my screen share is not showing that slightly. Carbon reporting, really, really useful. Most companies are now doing this, and it's a really good ESG report. So you can track your carbon across your standard mileage transport, but planes, trains, buses, etc., hotel night stays, and utility bills. So you can get a nice, clean report, end of month, end of year, end of quarter, however you want to run that. And it's really good, and it's really granular. For the likes of mileage, you can go right down to the engine size, petrol, diesel, type of vehicle. Really, really good report there. And then a big one, where we're using that OCR technology and AI technology to scan these receipts in, duplicate reports and duplication reporting both for user and finance is really key. One, because we're integrating directly into, integrating into payroll. This is where we're going to stop people getting over reimbursed, where we're going to be seeing the same receipts over and over again. You can run a report on this and actually delete those duplicates out of the software. Really, really useful. And also with carbon reporting, it's also good. You can offset as well, just to touch back on that. In terms of as well, our AI reporting. So this is really key, and it's very permission based. Obviously, it's typically it'll be for the finance, the payroll teams, depending if you have permissions to see this. Really, really effective tool, but for pulling all the reports that you need. And it's basically using natural language and Insights intelligence. You can go into this data here, go into this tool here, and basically ask, let's say department spend for this year. I can go in, type that question in, and it's going to go and pull that data. I've got no department against my name, but hopefully you guys get the picture. We've got popular prompts here in the sense of, okay, fetch the top 5 spend categories this financial year. Again, it's probably just going to be mileage. And it is. You can ask basically any question you want, any type of report you want. Download it out the software. You can ask for certain graphs. So ask for any sort of types of graphs, like whether that be a bar chart, pie chart, and it's going to pull this data out here, which is easily downloadable, and then you can send it on to other people. And then another thing that we've started, what we're building and where we're using AI, because AI is going to be massive with helping with workflows. So our workflow intelligence is really, really good. Here we use our smart audit feature. I won't go into the details today, but it's basically where you saw in the approval process, our discover approval insights. Where workflow intelligence and rules intelligence really starts to come into play is if you have policies such as not allowed to be reimbursed for any alcohol receipts, you can start to type these details and policies into our auditor tool, and it will start to look on those receipts and actually action certain workflows against it, whether that's a straight rejection or going into a different approval workflow, such as a second stage of direct to sign off on because it's with client entertaining. Those are types of things where you can naturally use natural language to type out your rules and workflows into the software, and it's going in and applying it. Cool. That is everything that I wanted to touch on today. I can see that we have got a few questions that are coming in into the chat. I will stop sharing my screen now, and then we can and then as a team we can go through. If that's all good with everyone else.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny. The one thing we need to cover before we go into questions is the Champions program. Al, would you mind covering that, please?
Sure, yeah. So Cintra People Expenses is proving popular. is really popular with our customers. So we have limited places on a champions program to be an early adopter of the system and give us feedback. So if anyone is interested in doing that, reach out to us and we'll see if we can get you into the champions program. So that starts and that now. General release of this system is planned for September the 1st, essentially after the summer holidays, so everyone can go away and enjoy the summer. But September the 1st is general release to all customers of Cintra People Expenses. So watch this space for more news about that. I think that's probably it on that level. Really glad that we've got some questions in the chat. Definitely don't be shy. If you have a question, put it in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them. So in terms of the questions, shall we have Tom, were you going to read them out and then Johnny and I will field an answer where we can?
Should we just go top to bottom as well? I think just the earliest one and then just scroll down and go through them. Yeah.
In that case, I'll leave it to you, gentlemen. If we're going to go top to bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So Jonathan, I think this is a good one for you. So Jonathan said they currently use Cintra Payroll and Capture for expenses. Are there plans to actively move Capture customers over to the whole Cintra People Expenses version? And then the follow-up question was that they want to be able to analyze that data across their different accounts as at a group level. Would that be possible in the Cintra version?
Yeah, so there's two things there. So it is absolutely our plan that if customers want to move from Capture Expense and independent Cintra People Payroll to this combined, then that will be possible. To be honest, we're not looking to do that before September, so that will be a program that we instigate after September. But yeah, that's absolutely our plan. It's also in our roadmap to get unified, integrated reporting across payroll, HR, and expenses. So if you have linked organizations in expenses and you want to combine that data with payroll data, with HR data, yes, it's in the roadmap that we will be providing features and functions to enable that. Cards on the table, day one, we do not have that integrated reporting feature, but it is coming.
Cool. Next question was, I've just been scrolled out. Okay. Touching on configuration and expense types, are there any set up as standard and what needs to be set up, e.g. VAT and net, mileage tracking, tax versus non-taxable? I can happily answer this if you want, Al.
Go for it.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, absolutely. So configuration really simple in terms of everything can be configured basically to what you need. What we can look at as a team is we'd either look at how you're uploading into payroll, whether that's your different expense types, just as expenses, but from if you take it from an accounting point of view, all your different general ledger codes be loaded in, taxable, non-taxable expense types be loaded in as well, and then also for vehicle, all the standard HMRC rates are embedded into the software. So, as they change, the software will change. And then also we have cumulative mileage as well. So as you get to 10,000 miles, it will automatically put that person on that lower rate. So what I was showing you in the demo, me putting in that mileage, once I hit that 10,000, it automatically puts me on the lower rate. And I would see that as an employee. But the configuration is super simple. We do have a set of standard category types, but those can all be modified to exactly what you need in terms of coding, but then also into payroll as well. Cool. Fiona has asked.
So next question, I think from Fiona.
Yeah. Do you want me to read it? I just use payroll.
Is expenses chargeable?
Yes. So Fiona, it will be. As Alistair said, we have got a champions program going on, or just about to be released, or it's ongoing at the minute. So absolutely, please, we'll reach out to you after. We can run through that in detail in terms of what you need. We have got obviously different modules within the expenses module itself, but it's definitely something we can talk on, and we'll reach out to you after this about that. Cool. Sheridan, how are different claims coded for finance, e.g. our staff claim for various college trips or departments which are not the same as where it's salary coded? Cool. Different claims coded for finance. Okay, cool. Right. So in terms of, I'm presuming that's around accounting, account coding, so such as your general ledger coding. Absolutely. So that'll be set up either at your general ledger level, or it can be set up in your different people level, obviously with the different departments, and we'll talk about tags and cost centers with that as well. And we can split that up as well. So if you have like a finance team who have got completely different coding against like normal staff, then absolutely that can all be coded in. And then you can load that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alistair. You can all still, if you still want your data to go to, let's say, an accounting platform, the data can still flow across into that accounting platform. Doesn't necessarily need to go directly into Cintra or your payroll.
Absolutely, we have a plethora of integrations, so we can integrate with just about every accounting system under the sun, including Sun systems now. So yeah, we have integrations with all of those major accounting systems.
Cool. Jade has put, is the system smart enough to know the same receipt has been submitted twice? I know you've got a second part to that question. So yes, that's our duplication feature. Super smart. We're definitely industry leading on our OCR and AI technology. So absolutely, if you take a picture, month one of that receipt, and then month two you upload the same receipt, system's going to know straight away that's duplicate claim. You'd be able to see that as a payroll and finance. You'd see a duplication report, but then the employee is going to be notified straight away that's duplicate claim. So yeah, absolutely smart enough to do that. Your second part is we are currently paying expenses weekly via BACS as we run a monthly payroll. Are we able to run a weekly payment run for expenses alongside our standard monthly payroll? Alistair, I'll let you answer that part of that question.
Yeah, so there are a number of different ways to do that. So we have a BACS export. So from the expense module, you can export directly to BACS and process that. You can process it through your accounting system. There's lots of different ways that can be done. Probably the best thing, Jade, is to reach out and we can give you a demonstration and show you how all of those different methods work.
Yeah, cool.
Another thing there, Jay, is as paying expenses weekly is a huge administrative burden, going through the approval process, raising the payment, making sure you've got cash flow, this, that, the other. It may be simpler just to go through for a card. So if you're interested in that, Johnny can talk you through certain capture expense cards. The administrative burden you'd save by not doing a monthly payment run and just having a pre-funded card is immense. But we do it internally, and it's really, really made a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Joanna, we use Xero and capture expense. So rather than the detail being posted from capture expense to Xero, the expense detail will be posted with payroll journal into Xero. I think that's basically Alice, you just answered that the question before. You can still do it both ways. So if you're still wanting to send that data just directly to Xero, then you absolutely can. It doesn't have to be a payroll journal. But here we now have the full integration suite where you can just load it directly into payroll and do like a monthly payment run on their salaries. Lisa, will company cars pull from payroll? Currently, this is an input manually on capture. I'll let you answer that.
Again, we understand that is a weakness in the flow. That's on our roadmap a little bit in the future. So day one, that'll still be a manual process. Well, to be honest with you, day two, it'll probably still be a manual process, but we understand the frustration there, and we will solve that problem.
And that's sort of what the Champions program is for. We will get the early adopters to come on and make suggestions on what features and what would they think would make the product stronger, what would make their business run better. So it's exactly what the Champions scheme is for. So thanks for that question. Yeah,
absolutely. Cool. So Helen's asked, can you select an electric vehicle to offset the emission/mileage capture and run reporting to capture? Yes. So yeah, absolutely. So we've got all the different vehicle types in there. So electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles, you would just pre-select that vehicle for the right staff member, and then absolutely it will show in that report of what vehicle types people have got, and you would see the CO2 emissions, or how little the CO2 emissions are as well, and then you can definitely do an offset report for that as well. Danielle, are the expense submission deadlines the same as the payroll deadlines for processing monthly salaries? Alistair, you'll probably better understand that question from a payroll point of view.
They're not automatic, yeah. So they're not automatically aligned. There's a reminder feature within the expense module, so you can send out reminders to your employees saying, get your expenses submitted, approved by such and such a date, to ensure that they are included in the salary run. Obviously, the payroll is locked at a certain point. When the payroll is locked, you will be unable to post expenses into the payroll. So it's not that they're not automatically aligned. It's not an automatic schedule, but they are aligned.
Cool. And then Jess has asked, is exporting data the same as capture? Yes, you can still export the data that you need. What I basically showed today on the demo is just how it all syncs with payroll, being all unified. But if you still need to export the data out exactly what you're doing in capture today, it's still going to work the same. So you can still pull off all your audit export. You can still pull off just a standard CSV file. All of that's going to still operate the same, as well as exporting a CSV into your accounting software. That all reporting will stay the same. And then Danielle, the question underneath, does the system allow finance to review and amend the VAT treatment if an employee has entered it incorrectly, or that sometimes the employee has to correct them themselves? So yes, all that's still saying the same. So you can have you can still in finance change the VAT, approve or reject as a finance team. You can still amend, general ledger code or the cost centers. All of that you're doing already in capture is still saying the same. So you have all that permission based from a finance point of view to do that as well. And I think, Danielle, that answers your second one as well. So if stage one has approved an expense, can another stage still reject if it doesn't comply with company policy? Absolutely. Stage two, depending on how many stages you have, if a stage 3 or stage 4 still doesn't think it's correct, they can still reject it straight back to that staff member, and it would go back into their expenses draft section for them then to review, amend, add a receipt, anything like that. Still will work exactly the same way. Lisa, we have overseas employees that will be using capture. Will Cintra be looking after the mileage rates as you do the HMRC in the UK? Alistair, I'll let you answer that question because that's got more to do with you.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things there. So in the first instance, so I think if you probably have linked organizations there for your overseas employees. In the Champions program, we are not dealing with linked organizations. So from day one, we cannot manage that at all. Obviously, that's on our roadmap for day 2 to manage linked organizations. But yeah, once we can do that, you can set up whatever mileage rates you like. The thing about HMRC rates, we know what they are, we pre-populate them, they are a thing, that happens automatically across the platform. If you're using, and you can override those and set your own rates up wherever you want. So for your overseas employees, you can set up your own mileage rates in those countries.
Yeah, perfect. Jess has asked, do employees have access to payroll too? Good question. It's all permission based. So, and that's a really good point. So if you are finance and you need to operate the back end of expenses, then you would see the back end of expenses. But then if you have no, permissions or rights in payroll to obviously do what I did, where I can access the payroll and look at the pay slips, then you wouldn't have permissions to. So now where we're an all-in-one solution, you can set up permissions based on individuals of what they have access to. So if they have no rights in payroll but have full rights in expenses, that can absolutely be set up. In terms of just standard, if you were a standard employee, you would see your expenses and just be able to do your, add receipts and submit your expenses. Then you would probably have, let's say, your HR, the employee hub in Cintra People, to then see your pay slips. That's basically all you would see. hopefully that kind of answers. Alistair, have I missed anything there with how that would kind of operate?
No, I think the very short answer to that question is employees do not have access to payroll. Employees have access to their pay slips, to all that they need to do in HR, and they have access to expenses. The only people that can see payroll are the payroll admins. Of course, we do have a groups product. So if you want to give your employees certain payroll access, you come and speak to us about groups.
Yeah, cool. And then Nikki's asked, can you then transfer from capture to payroll and then, where is that just gone? Can you transfer from capture to payroll and then from capture to your accounting software? Just do the same process twice for each expense. Capture to payroll, yes.
100%.
Yeah. I think I'm reading that right. So it's basically you upload to payroll onto the payslip and then you export that data out back into your accounting. Absolutely, you can still do that. That's we have people who have got Cintra as well as capture expense now. It's exactly what they'd be doing now. But in this version, uploading to payslip is just a click of a button, and you can see it in there if you're a payroller straight away. Cool. Danielle, thanks all. Sorry, yes, stupid question. I don't use capture. I'm just here to... Okay. Jess, can you fully process payroll through this program as this currently gets done through my account? Yes, is the very higher level answer. So if you're a payroller, you'd still have that payroll and you'd be able to see everything. If you have permissions to everything, you'd be able to run your payroll, see Cintra People HR and see Cintra People Expenses all from one screen and be able to run all off one login. That is what you can do. And then Helen, the last question, specifically about costing for this and integrating this. Will someone follow up directly with me, please? Yes. So we'll reach out to everyone after. We have brochures, but there will definitely be collateral that we can come out and send out. We'll reach out to everyone after this as well if anyone wants to find out more. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions. So again, thanks to everyone for attending. Al, Johnny, thanks for your time. Thanks for showing everyone and presenting the product so well. There is a poll on this webinar at the moment. If you are interested in a follow-up conversation, if you've got more questions, then please mark it as yes, and one of our team will be in touch. Other than that, again, thank you all very much. We're really excited about this product. That may have come across. Cintra People is going to be an incredible platform with everything you need for your people operations. So again, we're here. If you need anything, if you've got any questions, you know where to find us. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate your time.